Welcome back, my friends, and now let's talk about another interesting panel inside After Effects called the Effects and Presets. And now we're going to have another class just devoted to effects, but in this case I just want to show you how you can quickly start using them and without having to worry about a lot of different technical kind of things. And if you want to start creating your compositions and you want to start animating things, you can do it right away. So if you go to Window, as you can see here, we have a lot of different type of commands, and these commands will call windows. So for example, I can go to Media Browser, for example, and I can get this panel. I can go again to my Window section and I can call the Effects and Presets, which is the one that we want to use, and now you can see that I have this window. So there's a lot of different panels that you can use inside After Effects, and all of them are going to be able inside this region. You can go and select Smoother, for example. You're going to get this panel in here. You can go and select Align, Audio, and look at the shortcuts that we have in here. For example, for tools, you can use Control-1. For information, you can use Control-2, which is this guy, little guy in here. You have Control-3 for preview, we have Control-4 for audio, Control-5 for our effects, and Control-6 for character, Control-7 for our paragraph, Control-8 for paint, and Control-9 for our brushes. So these ones are kind of some of the ones that we're going to be using. Well, not really, because sometimes if you are in a kind of project where you are not going to be using some of this, obviously you're not going to be using them, but you know, just try to remember these ones because they are easy to remember, and they are going to be helpful when you need them. So in this case, Control-5 for our effects and presets. So we have it already in here, and now what I can do is I can move my panel like this. I can make it go bigger if I want to. And now, as you can see here, we have our composition and we have this kind of effect moving. Now, one thing that I want to do is I want to remove from our comp area, because I didn't do that in our previous class, I think, because, I mean, why we are not getting that, I don't know. So I'm just going to make my zoom bigger, and I'm going to move this keyframe to the end, okay, because it wasn't at the very end of my composition. So that's what we have. Now, if you want, you can press Control S, and that's going to save your composition. That's fine. Control S saves you a lot of trouble, believe me. Now, let's go. And as I was saying, we have another class devoted to just effects. But in this case, we are going to see this option called Animation Presets. Now, let's say that we want to animate this 2020 text. Now you can see that when I place my cursor on top of this layer, I get this kind of red color around it, okay, this kind of rectangular shape around this. And this is because these two are layers created in After Effects. And if you remember, we have our tags with red. And if we go and take a look at our solid, you can see that is red. And well, the text is not visible here, but that's why we're getting this red color. Now, if I place my cursor on top of this one, which is my Photoshop file, you can see that I get this kind of clear purple kind of color, and that's because that's the type of tag color that I am using for this specific type of footage or type of asset. Now let's go and select this one. I can select it inside my timeline, or I can select it inside my composition window. Now remember, I am using my 3D version for this, so if I click on this one, I'm going to make it 2D, and you can see the light going away. If I click again, you can see that I am is going back to 3D, but now the position is locked, so I'm just going to press Control Z and Z again so that I can keep my position. And now let's go and try to see some sort of preset for text. Now you can see that I have backgrounds, behaviors, image creative, special effects, utilities, shapes, and there's a lot of different things in here. I actually don't know all of them, all right? So I remember when I started using After Effects, there used to be some of these. I don't know if they have been adding more and more. I don't really use them because, I mean, you know, when you have experience using After Effects, some of these things are kind of there, but you actually want to move your things the way you want to, And sometimes they're just good for quick things and quick ideas of bringing some of the stuff together. But the one that I use probably the most will be text, because when I want to animate text quickly, I just go from here and then I start tweaking my parameters. So now let's say, for example, in here that I want to use this mechanical section. Now if I go to mechanical, I'm going to get access to different type of things. Now let's say that I want to use this one that I like called, well, it could be this mechanical or electromagnet. So I can take electromagnet and I can place it on top of my layer. You can see that I get this kind of feedback where I'm going to be placing it. I can place it in this one, but in this case I want to use it for text because that's the kind of effect that I'm using, text, animation text. So I'm going to drop it in here, and now you can see my text is kind of going all the way, is moving in all these kind of different direction. The position changed of every single one of the characters. So now I'm going to go here to the beginning of my animation or my composition, and then I'm going to hit play in here in my preview. I can hit play, okay, and you can see that my objects are not animated at all, so they are static with that position. Well, that means that I am not seeing all the different type of things that I have inside this effect. So what I need to do is I can click on my text layer in here, this little kind of triangle, okay, and I can, well, this is like a greater than kind of toggle, this arrow, and now you can see that I have text and I have this transform option, and if I click on this transform, you can see that I have all of these things. And then if I click on text, I have all of these things. And there's a lot more information that you can get. If you click on this, I can get materials. If you're using 3D objects, then you're going to get more options. If you're using 2D objects, you're going to get less options. Now you can see that I have this thing called Animator Wiggle. All right, so you can see here, this is my Animator Wiggle. And right now, there's if you take a look in here, it looks like there's nothing, there's no animation in here. So probably that's why I am not seeing that. But the thing is that we actually have some sort of animation. Let me just show you that. Right in here, you can see that I have this little guy, and that means that we have something going on in here. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little dot in here, and that means that we have something going on in here. So I'm just going to click and try to see what is happening, and you can see that in here I have this stopwatch kind of active, and that's because I am using that object. So I can take that and I can move it, and you can see how my objects are now kind of moving. Can you see that? They are kind of rotating, and that's the kind of thing that I can do with this. So this is pretty cool. So now I can move it like that and place them like this, for example, and that means that now they are rotating and they are moving, and that is really cool. Now the thing here is that probably I don't want them to move, and I want them to stay the way they were at the beginning. Now the problem with this is that my my actual composition is too small, and probably the effect has a lot more space for me to work with. So what I can do is I'm just gonna hold this, and I'm going to go to composition, and I'm going to go to composition settings, and in here I'm going to change the values of the duration of this object, so of my composition. Instead of going to 3 seconds, I want to make it 10 seconds again, and I can just press here 0, and I can make it specific to 10 seconds. I can click on OK, and I have again this kind of big animation, big composition again, and you can see that now I have more keys in this region, and I have another key right in here. So what I want is I want to go to 3 seconds, and I want to move this guy to 3 seconds, and you can see that that's where we are going to end our animation. So that's really cool. And now I can see that there is another parameter. In this case is one called the one called selector by words. Now I can click on this one, and you can see that I have this offset value. Now I'm going to take all of these keyframes, and I'm going to move them, and I'm going to place them right in here after the 3 seconds, well, before the 3 seconds. And now I can go again, take my timeline, and I can reduce that, and I can right click on it, and I can trim again my composition. Now the thing here is that you don't have to do this all the time. I am doing this because I want to show you. Right now this is our first chapter, and really what we should be focusing right now is in our interface and how we can use and manipulate some of the actual basic things. We're going to talk about animation, and we're going to talk about the Animator Wiggle and a lot of different cool things that we're going to get inside these layers. But for now, just stay with me and see what is going on. So right now you can see how these objects are kind of changing its position, and now they are going back to the original position that they had at the beginning. So now you can see that they are wiggling like that, and then all of a sudden they change. And I don't like that because that's kind of a really kind of weird behavior. I mean, we are coming like this, and then all of a sudden they just change dramatically from this point to this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these guys, I'm going to place them right in here at the beginning. So at the beginning they're going to be like that, and then they're going to be getting their position little by little until they get into this shape. Now we can make that a lot quicker. If we go like this, for example, you can see that that's how they're going to be, how they're going to behave like that. And I can actually take this, and you can see that in here I have another point. I can take this one, and let's delete this one because I don't need it. I'm just going to put it like this. And like I said, you can personalize all of your animations in here without any kind of trouble. And you can move this, for example, this is the one that makes our objects rotate by themselves like this. And now you can see that they are kind of getting a nicer kind of situation or nicer animation thing. So let's go and play again. And now you can see we have this cool animation, and it's going quickly. Now after that we get this kind of quick behavior, and we can actually go back and say, you know what, I want to delay this kind of situation. I can make it quicker, I can make it go faster. I can just take that and make it a lot faster like that, you know, jump right away. And that's how you can extend or decrease this type of functions. Now there's something else that I can use inside here. For example, I can toggle this graph editor, and I can see different ways of manipulating my my keys. Now this is a little bit more advanced, but for now let me just right click in here, and for example let's say keyframe interpolation, and I can change it from linear to, let's say, Bezier, for example, or I can select this again and say keyframe assistant, and I can make it easy ease, easy ease in, easy out, and there's a lot of different things. So for example, if I change that to easy ease, I'm gonna get a different type of object in here. These ones normally look like a diamond, but now you can see that we have this kind of sand clock kind of shape, and that is changing how our animation is behaving. And I don't know if you can see it, but we have a different type of result. It's like kind of a smoother transition between that. So now I can take that and I can do the same thing. I can go to keyframe assistant and make it an easy in, for example, only, because I mean we are at the end, so the out is stays with the diamond shape, and just this portion is going to get like that. So again, I can take this one, and for example this one I can make it just an easy out. And if I click on play, and you can press the spacebar, and that's going to help you with the preview. You don't have to click on here. So that's spacebar once, and you get access to that, and you can see the actual effect taking place. Now I'm going to help you with another option in here. So I'm just going to take this text, and you can see that we have all of these options that we are kind of opening. Remember, we go like that, and you see this Animator Wiggle, right? And as you can see here, we have our, if we open this again one more time, you can see that we have this selector by words, and we have this wiggler. So I can select this Animator Wiggler, and I can just delete it. And now you can see that my effect is gone. So if I hit play again, just my spacebar, you can see that my object stays the way it was at the beginning. So again, I can just take another one and say, you know what, I don't want a mechanical one. I want to use some sort of tracking, mechanical. Let's just go and use animated in, for example. So I can say something like spin by character, and I can apply that to this, and you can see that now I see my objects coming little by little, okay? And again, as you can see here, we have this animator. I can open this animator, look at my position. Again, I don't have access to this. So there's a lot of different ways of doing things inside After Effects, but just to recap, I'm gonna go to composition settings, and inside here, I'm gonna change this value from 3. I'm gonna make it 6. I'm gonna click on OK. And now I'm gonna expand this again. You can see that here is the end of my animation. So I'm gonna take my range selection. I'm gonna take this guy. I'm gonna place it at my 3 seconds. I'm gonna take again I'm gonna move like this. I'm gonna take this object. I'm gonna place it right in my 3 seconds. And let me just go like this because I want it to be perfectly at the end. I want it to be in there. So I'm just gonna move that. And one more time, right click on this, and we're gonna trim to work area. We are going to go back to the beginning of our animation, right? And then I'm gonna press spacebar, and now you can see that my objects are gonna get in like that, spin by character. Every one of the characters is gonna be spinning. And now the same thing, if you want to make it last longer, you can start like this, and they're gonna be starting like that, and they're gonna come one by one, moving like this. And that's just another way of using your presets that you have inside After Effects. And basically, that's it for now. That's when we're talking about the panels and the interface. We are exploring some other cool things inside After Effects. But from now on, we actually have one last class about the interface. And after that, we're just going to go and start working with our projects. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now, and take care.